This week, children across the country have begun their summer holidays, and if they're looking for something tantalising to read in the next 6 weeks, I'm sure they'll be thrilled to know there's a brand new edition of Finding Freedom being released, every kid's favourite. The Daily Mail's royal editor, Rebecca English, joins us now. Hello, Rebecca. What can you tell us about this update? What is being covered?
Well, as anyone who watches this programme will know, Finding Freedom was the publishing sensation of last summer, a very interesting, if not kind of slavishly flattering, biography of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And now they are bringing out the paperback of the book, and they have added an epilogue to it, a new chapter, if you will. And according to the publishers HarperCollins, this will cover everything from Harry and Meghan's heartbreak, their choice of words, not mine, at the loss of the Duke of Edinburgh. It will cover the really devastating loss of their second child and the fact they've gone on to very happily have a third child, Lily. It will cover more detail of their move to California, their plans for Archwell, which is the kind of production, audio and charitable organisation they've set up. So it is promising a wealth of detail.
Now, when the book was released, we speculated a lot about how much Harry and Meghan had actually contributed themselves to the book. Do we know if they've been sending notes to the authors this time around?
Well, I find this really interesting because, of course, Harry and Meghan have made very clear publicly, from their point of view, they did not cooperate with the authors. Now, I know for a fact they took a great interest in the book when they first heard about it and were very keen, probably as anyone would be who's having a book written about them, to find out what was in it. And the publishers and the authors of the book boast about having really unrivaled access to their inner circle of friends and advisors. And when you read the book, there's a wealth of very interesting detail, but detail that, such as, for example, the emojis that Harry first sent Meghan where they were dating, the fact that she impressed him by just happily going to the toilet in the bush when they were on their first African holiday together. That kind of tiny level of detail that you just can't imagine a friend or a contact or otherwise would make public without the couple's knowledge in some way. So, ostensibly no, but I think the same questions still remain that we had last summer about how they could have got this level of information.
And what about the palace? Any reaction? Do you think Kate and William will be furiously pre-ordering on Amazon this new edition?
Very unlikely, although of course they will read it. I mean, they'd be daft not to. But I just know from the palace point of view, they're not commenting. They don't want to get involved, but I think they're just utterly fed up of this kind of drip feed of information and revelations coming from Harry and Meghan and their acolytes. And they just want a summer without it, quite frankly, especially after what has been a really difficult few months with the loss of the Duke of Edinburgh. I think everyone just wants time to kind of, regroup and regenerate, so to speak.
I'm not sure they're the only ones. Thank you, Rebecca, for your contribution there and insights. Coming to you first, Victoria, it has been a busy couple of years for Harry and Meghan. So is it perhaps right that there's an update to Finding Freedom?
Well, it's certainly been a very big year. The book came out this time last year, and since then Harry and Meghan have said a lot themselves, and they have done a lot. They've progressed with their new lives. We've heard a lot from them. I mean, I think this is the publisher doing their job and promoting their product, promoting this latest edition. But actually, if you look at the list of things that they are saying is in this update, a lot of those things are things that we have already heard from Harry and Meghan themselves on over the last year. Things like Meghan has written very movingly about her miscarriage. Harry wrote a tribute to Prince Philip. We know a lot about how they feel about the media. So there might be some new insight, but I think it's also highly possible that there's been so much fanfare around this book. There's been so much publicity around this book historically and so much discussion, and every aspect of it has been totally dissected. But when it comes to actual revelations about the couple, I think all the big revelations have come from other things, from the Sussexes themselves, in interviews or in things that they have done or put out themselves, and I think that's the trend that's going to continue.
Are you excited about the book, Andrew?
No, I'm not, and I don't.
Take a minute to think.
I don't buy the line that what Victoria said. The last book wasn't laden with extraordinary revelations, so they confirmed that she spoke at the wedding breakfast, but that had been reported anyway, so it was confirmed. I think they should call the book something different too. I wouldn't call it Finding Freedom. I'd call it Finding a Fortune, because because what they're doing is making millions out of his royal heritage. Nobody's interested in this book if he's just plain old Harry Wales and she's a B-list actress from America in a TV series that I'd never heard of until he got engaged to her. And here they go again. They've just got their nose deep in the trough and they're making as much money as they can.
You know, if Finding Freedom, if Harry felt that was the definitive version of his story, would he be writing another one? No, I think, you know, he is going out there and writing his version because he feels that hasn't been done yet, and that's the one to look for.
His truth, that new expression, his
2023.
truth.
Yes, pick your own truth.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like, you know, if Finding Freedom had those revelations, then Harry would have nothing to say in his book. So of course there won't be.
Yeah, I mean, his book's going to talk more, isn't it? Presumably, the publishers want more detail about the breakdown with William, the breakdown with Catherine, what really went on when they left the funeral of Prince Philip, when Charles rather astutely said, we won't go back in the car, it's not far to walk after all, and they are all supposed to want to save the environment. They walked back, enabling Harry and William to have that sort of very public reunion of sorts. But I suppose they will then peel away even more layers of the relationship between the two brothers, which I think is really, really sad.
But I have to say, I hate myself for how much I want to know about all of that that you just described.
We do.
So I think I might be.
This is exactly right. The interest level is so huge, and while the Sussexes are willing to talk about what has gone on behind closed doors and to put that information out there, that is going to trump everything else. That's where the interest is going to be.
And they have to do it for him to remain relevant, because he's disappeared off the face of the earth in the context of the royal family. So he's got to keep reminding people he's here, and he's also got to earn his bucks from the TV companies, from Spotify, from Netflix. They need him out there in the public domain.
There's a lot of rooms to clean in that mansion. That's all we have for you on our YouTube show. But to see the rest of this episode, including some more fascinating royal revelations, head to www.mailplus.co.uk/royals or click the link on screen now.